Welcome to the Urania Book. If you are new here, the Urania Book is a revelation of truth to this planet, and it is written by advanced celestial beings. So, if you find that hard to believe or you're skeptical, that's okay. But don't judge a book by its cover. Examine what it has to say and see how that synthesizes or sits with you. It is a massive book. We are in the foreword right now in our read-through. But even there is just an amazing amount of information. This book has the power to change your life, and it has the power to change the world. It doesn't matter what your background is, what your religion is. This is something that can be embraced by everyone. I know for me personally, it has changed my life. Before this, I was alcoholic. I also was addicted to marijuana. My relationships were more selfish and self-centered. I mean, I wasn't a terrible person, but I wasn't putting it all together. I was even interested in New Age and Buddhism before this, but this really gave me the kick to say, I need to take it to the next level. Spirituality is the most important thing. I got to become a 100%er. And in doing so, it helped my physical life as well, my material life within this world. We don't think that we need God and we don't need the Urania Book in this planet and that we have a handle on things. Well, people learn our lessons one of two ways. Plan A is gentle love and guidance, and that's what this book is about. Plan B is trial and tribulation. If it was a stove, Plan A would be the mother telling the child, don't touch it. Plan B would be the child touches it and says, oh, wow, that hurts. I'm not going to do that again. I was a Plan B person. I experienced the wrong living and said, I got to make a change, okay? The world is a Plan B world, because we are going down the wrong rabbit hole, the wrong paradigm. If you look at our wars, our primitive animalistic behaviors when it comes to pollution. A great quote that I heard is that climate change will do for the world what no other spiritual teacher has been able to do. And that is get human beings to change and to see the light. Because that will be Plan B for us. When we have an economic collapse right now, oh, by the way, like and subscribe to the video. We're doing wonderfully here, so let's keep the ball rolling. But when we have an economic collapse, you'll see that subscription count go through the roof, because that's when people are going to be searching for something else, because their happiness, which they placed in the monetary aspect, is no longer going to be there, because they'll realize, oh, that doesn't have value at all. Now, we are looking at God the Sevenfold. Now, this is value, folks, okay? This is the foreword of the book that we're at, and this is value. Remember, mind is meaning, spirit is value, and that which is thing is only a thing. It requires a mind to give it a meaning. Like a car, for instance. A car is only a thing, okay? It needs a mind to give it a meaning and say, okay, now it's a vehicle for transportation. But then, is there value on top of that? Well, now here's a great one-liner about value, and then we'll get to this. All things have value only to the degree that they bring men and women closer to God and God closer to men and women. So it's only to that degree. For instance, if that's a rosary bead, and you're praying to that rosary bead, well, that might be your temporary bridge to a connection with God, but that's not really the connection to God. That stems from within you. You could throw that rosary bead in the garbage. You could burn that Bible. You could burn that Urania book. You still have the ability to connect with God. This is just a helpful tool, the most helpful tool on the planet. Hands down. God the Sevenfold. To atone for finity of status, and to compensate for creature limitations of concept, the Universal Father has established the evolutionary creature's sevenfold approach to deity. We are so far away from the Universal Father, the central Universal Father, that there needs to be this basically ladder. But notwithstanding that, we are indwelt by a fragment of that divine God. So God is at the same time the most furthest thing and entity in the universe from us, and also the closest. Now, the first, we'll talk about them. Okay, Paradise Creator Sons. This was our Jesus of Nazareth. The book teaches that Jesus was our local universe creator. not the second person of deity, but the offspring of that Trinity, okay? But it's paradoxical because they say that if you've seen the Son, you've seen the Father. There's a oneness there. So the Bible isn't wrong when it says that God or Jesus is God and all that type of stuff because of that one-liner. If you've seen the Son, you've seen the Father. There's a oneness, but there's also this sevenfold approach. The Ancients of Days, okay, those are beings that are just beyond the Paradise Creator Sons. And we'll learn more about all these beings. The 7 Master Spirits, okay, there's one for each super universe. Each super universe has something like 100,000 local universes, and each local universe has 10 million inhabited worlds. I mean, we're talking about vastness beyond belief. But wouldn't it make sense that it would be like that? I mean, even our scientists can peer out with telescopes and see, holy shit, this is never ending. The Supreme Being, which we learned about, that's the evolving God of time and space. That one is dependent on our mastery. Faith alone will grant us the eternity to keep on mastering, but it requires the self-mastery to advance within that eternity. So it's not just, oh, I died and I went to heaven because I have faith. No, you died and you get an eternity to keep on continuing to climb the ladder to heaven. God the Spirit, that's the third person of deity. They talk about that in Christianity. They call it the Holy Ghost, but I don't like that word ghost. God the Son, now that's the eternal Son. That's the second person of deity, not actually Jesus of Nazareth. Jesus of Nazareth is the Paradise Creator Son. He's the offspring of these two. And if that doesn't align with you, throw it. It doesn't matter, okay? Because remember, if you've seen one, you've seen the other. There's this connection here. There's all monotheism. Even though it's God the Sevenfold, it's all monotheism. And it's not the ideas about God, deity, and divinity that are important. It's the ideals. Love. Okay, approachability. That's an ideal. Being able to approach something. God the Son, okay, second person of deity. And they say that God the Son's love is more characteristic of a mother. It's mother-like love. And then God the Father, okay, that is just the central creator, the top being, the top essence, love, bestowal of personality, bestowal of eternal life, and bestowal of a fragment, which allows us to embark upon this eternal journey, your individualized fragment. This sevenfold deity personalization in time and space into the 7 super universes enables mortal man to attain the presence of God, who is spirit. This sevenfold deity to finite time-space creatures, sometime power personalizing in the Supreme Being, is the functional deity of the mortal evolutionary creatures of the Paradise Ascension career. So we have to have a functional deity. We are material beings. Okay, the first phase of the universe was Havona, which was created in perfection. And all of those beings were spirit beings right from the rip. Then the second phase of universal age, I should say, was that the gods were going to have material beings evolve up to the levels of gods, okay, to God. And not that you become God, but you evolve, as much as possible. And in that's such a huge gulf. Could you imagine if you were a Havona citizen and they said, oh, well, what's the next universe age? Oh, well, we're going to make a material. Well, what the hell is a material? It's a non-spiritual energy system, okay? And we're going to evolve that up to the level of God. Oh, really? Well, how the heck are you going to do that? I mean, that's non-material. It's non-spiritual. Well, we're going to use faith and we're going to use free will choice of imperfect creatures. What? That sounds like an impossibility. How could people have faith here on this planet? When you look around and you see people dying, this is a godless world. How could you have faith in God? Well, we're indwelt by that fragment, which gives us the light. And we're also helped by many orders of beings in the universe. So it seems like an impossible task. But as we can see, people are doing it. There's been many people who have embraced faith. Such an experiential discovery career of the realization of God begins with the recognition of the divinity of the Creator. Okay, so you have to realize, oh, God is, those amazing divine ideals. The creator son. Okay. The creator son of the local universe and ascends through the super universe. So they're saying you can't recognize it until you see that your own creator son, your Jesus of Nazareth, was was divine. But you don't have to do it during this life. That's the difference between Christianity and the Urania Book. So Christianity says all non-Christians are going to go to hell for eternity. Urania Book says, no, we'll resurrect you on the next, and you'll be a little bit closer into the next Marancha phase, and you'll be a little bit closer, be a little bit easier for you to understand the divinity of your creator son. Through the super universe, ancients of days, and by way of the person of one of the seven master spirits, because there's one for each super universe, to the attainment of the discovery and recognition of the divine personality of the universal Father on paradise. And again, it seems complicated, but how do you do this? Faith and free will choice, the service mentality. So easy. Love each other and have faith in God, and all the other little details will come your way. Self-mastery, right? Prioritizing the good things in life over the short-sighted things that will give you a temporary fix, but will cause you long-term harm. The grand universe is the threefold deity domain of the Trinity of supremacy, God the Sevenfold, and the Supreme Being. God the Supreme is potential in the Paradise Trinity, from whom he derives his personality and spirit attributes. But he is now actualizing in the Creator Sons, Ancients of Days, and Master Spirits, from whom he derives his power as Almighty to the super universes of time and space. This power manifestation of the immediate God of evolutionary creatures actually time-space evolves concomitantly with them. The Almighty Supreme, evolving on the value level of non-personal activities, and the spirit person of God the Supreme are one reality, the Supreme Being. Okay, so there's two entities there. There's the non-personal level of the Supreme, and then the personal, okay? But they're both combined as the Supreme Being. They throw that word around a lot, but that's what it is. The Creator Sons and the deity association of God the Sevenfold provide the mechanisms whereby the mortal becomes immortal and the finite attains the embrace of the infinite. So that's the Creator Sons, okay? And the deity association, okay? Which would, all right, we'll talk about that later. The Supreme Being provides the technique for the power personality mobilization, the divine synthesis of all these manifold transactions, thus enabling the finite to attain the absolute, which is a never-ending aspect. The absolute. It had a beginning but not an ending. And through other possible future actualizations to attempt the attainment of the ultimate. That's another aspect of God. The Creator Sons and their associated divine ministers, that's the universal mother spirit. That's the female counterpart to the local universe creator. That's they call them the local universe mother spirit. Are participants in the supreme mobilization, but the Ancients of Days and the seven master spirits are probably eternally fixed as permanent administrators in the grand universe. The function of God the Sevenfold dates from the organization of the seven super universes, and it will probably expand in connection with the future evolution of creations of outer space. So there's areas outside of these seven local universes which are yet to be formed, are yet to be inhabited with personalities, and they believe that's going to be the next universe age after we evolve these humans up to the levels of the divine. Then we're going to send them out, and they're going to be able to, be local universe creators. But they don't know. They don't know why this is happening in this book. But just the gift of life is enough. The joy that it brings to the beings who embrace deity and divinity, and I can attest to that in my life personally, is enough of a reason. The organization of these future universes of the primary, secondary, and tertiary and quartant space levels of progressive evolution will undoubtedly witness the inauguration of the transcendent and absolute approach to deity. Okay, so that's the next universe age. We're not even close to being there. Every single planet has to be settled in late in life in order for God the Supreme to Well, anyways, so thanks for checking out the book. Please like and subscribe. There's a lot of really heady stuff in there, but remember there's a lot of very easy to grasp things later on in the book. So hopefully you got something out of the video. Take care, and we'll see you next time.